What's up guys, Squirtle here, and this is not the format that I intended to be doing Steins Gate Zero in. In fact, it's not the format I'll be doing Steins Gate Zero in for hopefully the remainder of the season, but episode 17 of the most emotional episode of Steins Gate Zero, I recorded all 20 plus minutes of it, and when I went to save it, only about 8 minutes was usable, so I'm going to have to do it in this review format, and no, that doesn't mean that I'm not doing any other reactions for Steins Gate. I will be doing 18, 19, 20, 21, all the others in a proper reaction format to finish out the season. It's just with this one, my computer kind of screwed me over. So yeah, this is going to be a talk about episode instead of a reaction. Sorry. So let's talk about it. So getting into the episode, this was easily the most emotional episode of not just Steins Gate Zero, but I think Steins Gate as a whole, the series, because we saw emotion, a lot of emotion in the first season of Steins Gate with, you know, Kurisu dying and Okabe's reaction to that and all those kind of, you know, emotional moments in the first season. But this was probably one of the most heavily emotionally driven episodes. And it both you as the viewer feel it, and the characters obviously show this emotion. So everything kind of came to a head last episode with Mayuri trying to hide how frustrated and sad she is with the fact that Okabe is no longer holding Kyoma. He's not the way that he was, and he's always so sad, and she wants to know about the future in this episode. And as anybody logically would do, they're like, are you sure you want to do that? But they agree. Suzuha tells her about the future and explains what reading Steiner is to Mayuri. And while I feel like Mayuri doesn't fully understand it, which has kind of been established, she definitely is smarter than people give her. Well, I think everybody gives her credit for being smart. She's written that way. She's written in a way that she doesn't seem like an intelligent character by the way she acts, but she is so much smarter than people give her credit for, which I like characters like that, where they're like the silent, understanding type. That's awesome. But we actually see her admit her love for Okabe, but she even says, she's like, I love Okabe, but it's like, I probably love her as much, or love him as much as Kurisu. And then she goes, no, that's not right. I love him more than Kurisu, but she loves Ho and Kyoma even more. This man who saved her from the dark place she was in, and now she feels as though she can't save him from his dark place, which is actually really kind of sad to think about, that she's been, as she said, sort of a hostage to her own emotions. Which she was. She was hiding her emotions, hiding the way she felt about Okabe, hiding all of this stuff, keeping it to herself, to the point where now that it's all come out, it's been fairly obvious. But now she has this kind of, almost like a completed story arc of her finally expressing her feelings and kind of getting that weight off her chest, but now also giving her a reason to drive forward and finish her mission, which is, you know, to save Okabe. And she, again, smarter than the show, kind of, well, very smart. The show writes her as a, you know, silent smart character, but she decides she wants to go into the future with Suzuha. Suzuha's now decided that she's going to go to the future, or to the past, sorry, and try one last time to change Okabe's mind and have him go save Kurisu so that they can get out of the beta and alpha world lines and end on the Steins Gate world line. And Mayuri says it has to be at the point that he came back after failing to save Kurisu. Like, that is the point in the past that it has to be. Which she's 100% correct, because if you follow the original Steins Gate world line story, you've got the point where she slaps Okabe and says, no, I'm not letting you give up. You know, you never gave up on me. I'm not going to give up on you. You are the kind of person to never give up. So no, I don't believe you. Stop it. And you get the beta world line Mayuri, who, with the way that the first world line went, that encouraged him to continue. But that world line also only exists if future, this Okabe that we're dealing with right now exists, which right now we are building to the world where he exists. It's so confusing to try to explain these world lines and try to understand them myself. But yeah, because of that point in time, in the Beta world line story where we see episode 23B, we see that video file doesn't exist. That video file does not exist. It never makes it to Okabe. Nothing. Or rather, I don't think it ever unlocks for Okabe. But he just gives up. He completely gives up. He's done. And I got a thing of hair that doesn't want to lay flat. Anyway, yeah, so that, I guess, never comes up or is never brought home, never pays off, essentially. And so she knows that she has to go back to that timeline and not give up on him, not just give him a hug and tell Suzuha to stop trying to make him do what he is meant to do. So, very smart. But Okabe at this point realizes something's up because all the cell phones are down, all the carriers are down in Akihabara, and I have a feeling it's because of what happens later in the episode, but he runs to try to stop Mayuri from doing what she's trying to do, and he is so adamant on making her stop, but Suzuha is so adamant on doing it that she grazes him, like she shoots him and grazes him with a bullet and it brings him to a stop so that he can't stop them from doing what they're supposed to do. But what does stop them from doing what they're supposed to do is getting surrounded and captured, or rather surrounded and held hostage. Ironically, Suzuha says, or Mayuri says that she's done being a hostage, and then is actually held hostage on the rooftop near the time machine later in the episode. Kind of going from, a very ideological and not, it was more of a representation of her being a hostage to her actually being a hostage. Anyway, so Mayuri's held hostage. Suzuha is taken into the time machine where she has a hidden knife and kills these dudes and begins taking out these, SWAT guys. And I love how tactical, like, we don't often see her in actual combat scenarios, but when we do, she is so capable. And I want to know more about her backstory. Like, was she enlisted in the military? Like, I want to know part of her training, like why she is the way she is to that degree. Because it's kind of brought up in the last season, but not like completely fleshed out. So that would be interesting to see. Anyway, that's just a tangent. So she kills the guy who's keeping Mayuri hostage, and Mayuri goes to run away. I'm pretty sure that, I don't think she was shot, but if she was shot, then that means that they're not in the Alpha world line, which means that the Alpha attractor field wouldn't have taken out Mayuri, because in the other world line, the Alpha world lines where the Alpha attractor field is, the Beta attractor field would be Kurisu dying. So I don't exactly know what they're doing. I don't know if she's dead and both of them are dead now, or what the deal is, but anyway, what ends up happening is we see somebody in that leather motorcycle jacket or jumpsuit thing, but I don't know who. The reason why I say I don't know who is because we see somebody else. Right now we've had two people in a leather, bicycle suit. One of them, I'm pretty certain, is Judy, Professor Judy Reyes, who we've seen before, because when she got shot in the wrist, or when that person got shot in the wrist, we see Judy on the airplane with her arm covered, and she's probably one of them. The other one is, of course, Kaguri. So the question is, who is it? Because when we first see somebody in that suit, we see them standing over somebody else in that suit, shot full of holes or bleeding or dead. So I don't really know. Overall, I did really like this episode. It was one of the most emotional episodes of the season. I would say of the series, I would say it's the most emotional episode of Steins Gate, period, because we see just all the emotions welled up with Mayuri finally coming out. We finally see her using that to drive herself to clear, as she said, she wants to push the clouds away from over Okabe's head, because even though it's raining, it doesn't mean the stars aren't still shining above. And I love that metaphor for this world line that they're in, is like, there's still something out there. And I feel like the whole star theme is probably going to be a continuing theme, because when we see Mayuri first kind of talking about wanting to, you know, help Okabe in some way, we see the arc light and the mission that Dorrough gives. Oh, by the way, Dorrough gave Suzuha a message from the future in a D-mail, which apparently their choice to try to go to Steins Gate changed the world lines somehow, so Dorrough is different but the same, and so we get a message for mission, or what was it, mission or something arc light. So that whole thing, I feel like the star themes are going to be a much bigger theme down the road, which, I mean, I say down the road, we've only got a handful of episodes left, but yeah, I feel like that's going to be a thing. Anyway, like I was saying, I do like this episode. The themes are very strong. Like, the themes that they're pushing for are very, very strong and well implied, you know, with the fact that, you know, Mayuri's emotions are finally coming to a head. She's going to drive herself to save Okabe, but at this point so many things are happening. I don't know what is going to happen, because even people who play the visual novels have told me, like, I don't know where the story's going, because they've kind of followed this, but they're not following this, and they're going to just kind of mush it all together. Same way they did the storylines in the original Steins Gate, where they kind of touched on each of the possible storylines and endings, but at the end brought it all together to the final Steins Gate ending, the true ending of the visual novel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this or tolerated it. I'm very, very, very sorry that I was not able to put the review up today. If you guys watched on Twitter, or saw on Twitter, I posted that I was extremely frustrated. Like, it took me probably about like 10-15 minutes to actually want to just sit down and record this, because of how angry I was at the fact that I have essentially a very tiny little bit of a video that is completely unusable. So yeah, I had to do the review. Sorry about that, but hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. Make sure to like and subscribe. Yes, I will be continuing to do the reactions. It's just this was kind of the oddball. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment letting me know if you guys liked this, if I missed anything, and I'll see you all in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one.